and welcome to this episode of Learn Everyday English, your roadway to English proficiency. Back in the studio again today, kind of have a little different type of video for you. I'm going to have what we call a heart-to-heart chat with you. That's kind of like maybe open up a little bit about myself, tell you maybe some personal things about me. Maybe we can get to know each other a little bit better. Some things that may be a little bit vulnerable, we say in English. But before I get into that, there are 3 things that you can do for me. Hey, like the video, 1, subscribe to the channel, and 3, tell your friends about it so that they can benefit from these videos too, just like you. Okay. Well, today I'm going to wax philosophical, as we say in English, wax philosophical. That means I'm just going to talk about things that are philosophical, things that are, things that are kind of deep, have a deep meaning, or things that are somewhat more profound. So it's not just going to be anything about grammar, that type of thing. We're just going to have a little chat or talk, and mainly I'm going to be talking. And it's kind of a monologue, but just listen. Use this to practice your listening comprehension. And I'm going to be also going over kind of interesting phrases, expressions that we use in English like I normally do. It's not going to be kind of fatalistic, a talk. Fatalistic means like I'm thinking the worst, and you'll see why. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of talk to you about my health situation, and some of you may know already. I have a somewhat maybe serious health situation. I was diagnosed about a year ago with something called gastroparesis, which means kind of like a paralyzed stomach. The stomach doesn't move the food through the stomach fast enough, so the food kind of has a tendency to sit there and it's kind of rot, basically, and it forms a lot of gas and other, stomach, intestinal, digestive problems. And then the food is not digested and then absorbed normally, in the body. So it's very difficult to get the nutrients from the food into the body and to gain weight, that type of thing. But also it seems like I have a double whammy, which is like 2 things or 2 problems that are going on. And the second problem is something called disaccharide deficiency. You don't really need to know that word per se, but what it really means is my body doesn't process sugars, carbs, and starches properly. So my small intestine is not making, or say manufacturing, the enzymes that are in the body that are used to, we say, break down and process specific types of foods, and specifically sugars, carbs, and starches. So it's a pretty miserable existence, you can say. I can't eat sugary foods, drinks, carbohydrates, starches. So that's kind of like soft drinks, tea with sugar, sodas, rice, potatoes, meat, bread. I can eat meat, but bread and corn, that type of thing. So it's very limiting. But I'm going to talk to you about specifically today, there are things that I have learned having to deal with these health challenges, we say, or these illnesses that I have. So there are things that I have learned from having to deal with and to live with maybe 2 types of incurable illnesses, which currently have no cure or no solution, by Western medicine. So the first thing that I learned, number 1, is that, hey, it's okay, at least for a little while, to cry, even for men. It's okay. I remember when the doctor first told me, hey, you have gastroparesis, and there's some pills you can take that will help speed up, say, the food moving through your stomach. but it's not going to cure the problem. It may help make it a little bit better, but there's no cure. And I remember left his office. I was like, man, I thought Western medicine had a cure for everything, but apparently they don't. So I remember I got inside the car and I just started to cry. I was like, well, what am I going to do now? This is a hopeless situation. And it didn't last for long, maybe 5 minutes. And I said, okay, well, that's enough of that. Kind of like, enough of that. And I just need to move on. As we say in English, I need to live with it. So another thing under that, I learned that emotions and showing emotions is not a bad thing. You know, in society, men are kind of told you need to be tough. But it's important, too, to let it out. That's an expression in English, to let it out. That means to get it out. It means to release and to let go of what is bothering you or what you are holding inside. You just need to let it go. 2, it's part of the grieving and healing process to cry or to get your emotions out. It's part of the grieving. To grieve means like to be sorry or to feel sorrow and anguish for something that's happened. When you go to a funeral for someone that's died, you grieve for them. So it's okay. It's part of the grieving and healing process. And I also learned that eventually, and better sooner than later, we say, you need to, here's another expression, pull yourself together. You need to pull yourself together. That means to calm down, control your emotions, and behave normally again. So that's pull yourself together. The second thing I learned was that you can't feel sorry for yourself. You can't feel sorry for yourself because, we say in English, it won't do you any good. It won't do you any good, which means it won't help you. It won't help you. But sometimes you say to yourself, yeah, hey, I know it sucks. I know it sucks. That's another expression in English, which means, hey, I know this is kind of really stupid, or maybe this is wrong, or this is a bad thing, disappointing thing, or hurtful thing that's happening. It sucks. And we also say to ourselves sometimes, and I know I said this to myself, hey, this doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair. Hey, why me? Why is this happening to me? I'm a pretty good person, right? You got these bad people, they seem to have no problems in life. You know what I found out what the answer to my questions were? Hey, the answer is, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes that's life, right? Life happens. We don't know why things happen sometimes. The third thing that I learned from these 2 incurable illnesses is that you eventually have to come to accept reality. You eventually have to come to accept reality. That's what I did in the car after I cried. I said, well, this is my life. Crying is not going to solve anything. It's not going to change anything. Another expression in English, it is what it is. It is what it is. This means, and you use this to say that a situation cannot be changed and must be accepted. Must be accepted. I had to tell myself, well, hey, this is my life right now, and I have to deal with it. I have to deal with it. And to deal with something means you have to handle it or manage it. You have to handle the situation or manage the situation, or the problem maybe, and not keep complaining about it, while also allowing the problem or situation to remain because there's nothing you can do. So that means to deal with it, kind of accept it. But this doesn't mean that you have to give up, or it doesn't mean I give up or I gave up, and it doesn't mean that I threw in the towel. That's another expression in English. To throw in the towel means to give up, to give up. I don't know if you've watched maybe some boxing matches on TV, and maybe if one boxer is getting, say, beaten up very badly, he has his manager in the corner. And sometimes if it gets too difficult, the corner will throw a towel into the boxing ring. And that towel is a signal to the referee to say, hey, that's it, we stop, we give up. So the expression to throw in the towel means to give up. The fourth thing that I learned is you can't afford to dwell on it. You can't afford to dwell on it. And to dwell on something means to continue to focus on something and continue to think about something. Continue to focus or think about the problem or the situation. That means to dwell on it. So you can't afford to dwell on a situation because you're just going to think and think and think, and you're probably going to get a little bit stressed out. You can't afford to compare your situation with others. Like, hey, why me? Why not somebody else? Why can't I live a life like he's living? I wish I could. And again, you can't keep saying, oh, if only. If only I didn't have this situation to deal with. If only I could be healthy like everybody else. And also, you can't wallow in it. You can't wallow in it. And wallow is a word that we use, like if you see pigs, we say they live in a sty. And a lot of times pigs have mud where they live, and they'll roll around in the mud. And we say the pigs are wallowing in the mud. But to wallow can also mean to continue to feel sorry for yourself and your problems. So you can't, or I can't, afford to wallow in my situation or my problems. The fifth thing that I learned was you have to be positive, or you have to stay positive. You have to have what we call in English a PMA. And a PMA stands for a positive mental attitude. You have to be positive, especially up here. We also say in English you need to keep a stiff upper lip. Keep a stiff upper lip, which means a steady and positive and determined attitude or manner in the face of a problem. So you need to have a positive attitude as you face your problems, and we say you need to keep a stiff upper lip. And finally, you have to focus on things that you like or love to do and keep learning and improving. And this is a big thing for me because you can focus your attention and your mind on positive things, things that you like. So that's why I focus a lot of my energy and effort into, say, learning Spanish. I really love it. Or I focus my energy and effort on photography, or putting these YouTube channels together and the videos, and to help others. I'm tutoring a gentleman from Mexico at the local library, helping him learn English. So you need to focus on things that you like or love to do. The sixth thing that I learned is you have to surrender and give it up. Like, give it up. And for me, being a religious person, a Christian, I have had to give this up, or learn to give it up to God and say, hey, I don't know what to do about this situation. There's nothing I can do. So it's yours, God. You can take it. You realize you can't control this, or you can't control everything in life that applies to you and to me. We can't control everything in life. We have to realize that. Also, you can't afford to worry about it. This really is going to make things worse. You're going to stress yourself out, right? And maybe become even more sick. But we say it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. It's easier to talk about something than to actually do something about something. Isn't that right? It's easier said than done. And for me, I made peace with, which means to stop fighting or disagreeing with someone and start living and working happily together, or to come to a place of peace with and within yourself. That means to make peace with. So I made peace with my own mortality a long time ago. And mortality means like your lifespan, your life. I had to realize that, hey, we're only here on this earth for a certain period of time, some longer than others. But eventually, we're all going to die. We don't want to maybe think about that. We don't like to think about it, but it's reality. So I have had to make peace with my mortality a long time ago and keep it all in perspective, because we are only here on this earth for maybe a little while in comparison to eternity. The seventh thing that I've learned is you have to live life fully, or to the fullest. Live life to the max, we say in English, to the maximum. So live life fully or completely. We have another expression. We say, don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. Don't put off, or like push away, push off tomorrow or for tomorrow what you can do today, especially while you still have health or some health. You need to also, I say, spend some of that money if you have some savings. Don't hoard everything. To hoard means to collect or to accumulate, or hold on to a large part of something. You don't want to let it go. It means to hoard or to accumulate a lot of stuff. We all work in our lives, and we work. We work very hard for what we have. But sometimes we need to enjoy what we work for. We need to enjoy what we have. Sometimes before it's too late, because, nothing is guaranteed in life. Nothing is guaranteed. It's the expression here today, gone tomorrow. And so you need to just kind of live life fully. So you might have remembered the video I made a little while back about bucket lists. So what's on your bucket list? Do you remember that? Maybe you need to start doing some of the things that are on your bucket list. I know I've started doing something on mine. As a month ago, we went to Mexico City for 2 weeks, and I really enjoyed that, to travel. The eighth thing that I learned was to don't take things for granted. Don't take things or people for granted, which means to fail to properly appreciate something or someone, to not appreciate someone or something. Also, we need to say, if you need to say you're sorry to somebody, you need to go ahead and do that. Or maybe you need to ask for forgiveness from somebody. Say, hey, can you please forgive me for something I've done? Or maybe I forgive you for something that you've done to me. Maybe you need to say, I love you to somebody in your life. And you need to cherish each day you have been blessed with. To cherish means to love, to protect, and to care for. I mean, they like to give thanks also for every day that you wake up in the morning. So that's what I do. Every day that I wake up, I say, hey, thank you, God, for allowing me to wake up and see and to live another day. Let me use this day to the best of my ability. Let me live this day to the fullest, to help other people and to enjoy life. The ninth thing that I learned from dealing with these two incurable illnesses is to reflect on what is really important in life. Have you done that? What is really important in life? Is it working, going to work every day, making a lot of money? Maybe getting a big car, a big house, a lot of clothes, jewelry? Is that what's really important in life? Well, for me, it's not. And those things also change as you get older too. For me, it's time spent with loved ones, with family and friends, helping others, making a difference in the lives of other people, like giving back to other people and to society. Material things will fade away. To fade away will kind of go away, disappear. Because as we say in English, you can't take it with you, which means you can't take or bring material things with you after you die. So you can't take it with you. And finally, the 10th thing that I learned is that you have to laugh and enjoy life. Have to laugh and enjoy life. You can't be too serious or real serious. We say in English, you have to keep on keeping on. You have to keep on keeping on, which means you have to continue to live, continue to do the things in life that you need to do, and make the best of the hand that you're dealt with. Make the best of the hand that you're dealt with. This is an expression that they use when you're playing a card game, a game of cards, and you're dealt cards, and you have a hand of cards to play with. So you need to make the best of the hand or those cards that you're dealt with when you play the game, kind of like you're playing the game of life, the game of life. So you need to smile. Maybe you need to laugh. And for me, to enjoy life is to study Spanish. I do that every day, and it's not something that I just have to do or must do. It's something I just love and enjoy doing. I love and enjoy photography and traveling while I still can, while I still have the health to be able to do that. And enjoy what you have worked so hard to obtain. So that's a goal for you. Start enjoying, if you aren't doing it now, start enjoying life. Because overall, I'll wrap it up, because it could be worse, right? Things could be worse. You need to think about the positive things that you have. I need to think about the positive things that I have, the things that I have been blessed with. I'm going to be 60 years old next week. That's a blessing. I still have okay health. I can go certain places. I can't do a lot of things I used to do. Can't eat a lot of things that I used to could eat. But I still have some semblance of health, we say. I have food on the table. I have clothes to wear. I have a roof over my head and a car to drive. I don't have to work. That's a real blessing for me, because I don't think I could work given this situation, because a lot of times I just don't have a lot of energy. I'm tired, don't feel good. So that's a blessing. So I need to focus on those things, those positive things, these blessings that I have. So maybe you need to focus more on the blessings that you have, the things that you have, rather than the things you don't have. Or maybe, watch this, maybe the things that you want. Because there are things that we want, but it's not really things that we need, right? There's a difference between wants and needs. So I said it could be worse, because I could be, another expression in English, 6 feet under. I could be 6 feet under. And this means 6 feet under, which means when you go to a funeral, you see the person that's in the casket or the coffin, they bury the casket and the coffin in the ground, usually like about 6 feet underground. So to be 6 feet under means to be dead. So things could be worse. I could be 6 feet under. So that's another way to look at things. So these are the 10 things that I've learned in my life for the last 30 years, actually, as I've been dealing with this health situation, which is a long time. And some of these things weren't easy to learn, and I didn't learn them overnight. I didn't learn them like that. Sometimes it took a while to learn. Well, I think that's it. I wanted to go over these 10 things that I've learned, and I hope you found them interesting and maybe learned something. Hey, let me know what you thought about this episode. And remember, there are 3 things you can do for me. Hey, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and 3, tell your friends about it. So have a good week, month, rest of the day. Have a good weekend that's coming up. Wherever you are in the world, like I said, this blue marble that's floating around in the middle of this infinite space or universe that we live in. So take it easy, and I'll check you next time on Learn Everyday English. Hey, that's my phone going off. All right, we'll see you later. Goodbye.